Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to be introducing a guide on winstreaking. Before we go into winstreaking, hopefully you guys have watched my economics guide because it's going to be really important. Well, let's do a quick refresh. So, how do you make gold in Teamfight Tactics? There's four different ways. 1, you get 5 standard gold a round given to everyone at the same time. 2, you can get 1 gold for winning a round against an opponent. 3, you can get up to 5 additional gold if you bank up to 50 gold as interest. And 4, you can win or lose streak up to an additional 3 gold a round. This video will be focusing more on the win streaking. This is because it's a lot easier to talk about, as well as there's a very clear-cut pattern on what you can do, whereas it's much more difficult to come back when you're lose streaking. There's a lot more options and it's very difficult and hard to kind of pin down in one video. Before we get started, I want to say this video will be covering levels 4 to 6, where maintaining a win streak is the most important and the most relevant to you. After level 6, it doesn't really matter how much the win streak matters, because by then you're already so far ahead that you should pretty much be secure top 4, or at the very least top 5, top 4, top 3. Why is win streaking important? Why is winning round after round an important thing? First of all, it puts pressure on the opponents in the lobby. They take more damage and are forced to make harder decisions at each individual moment. Additionally, it pushes you closer to finding key units earlier than anyone else. You're taking levels 2 or 3 turns before anyone else in the lobby, which allows you to find that key pivotal force cost Akali or Gnar to fit in your comp, or Brand to make your elementalist, and you have the higher chance of doing it before anyone else. And 3, and most importantly, it gives you equivalent of 30 gold worth of interest. Let's say the maximum you can have in interest is 50. You get 5 gold from that. Well, in this situation, you get the maximum. It's like you're having 80 gold banked at all points in time, not even counting the 1 gold you get for winning the fight. So how do you win streak? Win streak is as easy as winning consecutive rounds. This video will focus on how do you maintain your win streak, because that is the most important thing. I talked about in my last video how if you're 4 experience away, you should always look to level, and how if you're 8 experience away, you should always level. If you're win streaking, you can take that to an extreme. You can level if you're 18 experience away, 20 experience away, even sometimes more than that, especially if you have a good unit to put in. A lot of times it's because, especially at the very beginning of the game, putting in a 1 cost unit is putting a lot of power onto the board. 1 cost doesn't really matter when there's 8 additional units, but when there's only 3 or 4 units, putting in an additional unit on the board could potentially increase your power by 20% or 15%, quite a significant amount, even though they're not even leveled up. So how do you maintain a win streak? A good example of this is, let's say you leveled very early, you hit level 4, and all of a sudden you have 2 or 3 pairs, you're on your way to win streaking, you win the round, and you have to make some tough decisions. The first tough decision is right before the first carousel. You are 8 experience away. If you have a pair to put in and there's any chance you can lose to any of the other players, why not level? The way you should think about it is, if you're securing your win streak, you're also making it so other players can't win at all, or win streak, or even start their win streak. It's really important to, let's say, spend the 8 gold, lose the 1 interest, and make sure you're win streaking early. And especially after the first carousel, you should be 6 of 10. If you leveled early, you 100% have to level there. The next level, going from levels 5 to 6, is a great example of that as well. To get there, you need 18 experience. So when along the 18 experience mark should you level? That's entirely going to be up to you. But a really good situation is leveling after Krugs. After Krugs, you'll have 6 of 18 left on the board, and it may seem like a lot of experience and a lot of gold to throw away. You're throwing away almost a little bit under 20 gold to put another unit on board, but if you're win streaking, it's always worth it, because you'll make that gold back very quickly, and you're maintaining this really long streak. You're playing the game aggressively, and again, you're putting pressure on other people in the lobby. This is very important and a key component about how you should start taking the game more seriously, especially if you're in the dominant position. I like to always say that if you're the player winning in the lobby, you're the person at the very top. No one else should be able to play the game, because this game is in your hands. You're making it so no one else gets to enjoy it. Only person who gets to enjoy the game is you, and that should be what is on your mind every single time you play the game, especially if you're the one at the very top at the beginning. Now let's talk about what happens when you push and you don't win. Let's say you took that like 16 gold investment and you didn't win the round. Well, first of all, that sucks. It's probably a pretty bad thing. Your econ is in shambles. But even though your econ took a big hit, it might be okay, because since you're higher level, you have a better chance of hitting key units that can cause you to come back. Because let's say you really needed the Akali or the Brand or the Sedge or the Gnar to fill out your composition, the Soul. and you can't get that as easily as you could if you were level 5, but you got it a lot earlier. Typically, when I'm talking about maintaining win streaks, it gets really difficult to maintain win streaks after level 6. Maintaining win streaks between levels 3, 4, and 5 are very, very important to be able to kind of create a massive lead between you and the opposing players, so that you have a lot of room to work with, kind of executing going into the level 7 late game kind of mark. One last thing I wanted to cover was the option to reroll while you're win streaking. You can reroll, especially if you have a lot of pairs, so you can hit your 2-star power-ups. However, realize that this is a more risky option, because if you do lose your win streak in this situation, you have no economy and you have no levels, so you can't look for higher units. Instead, you just have power or potential option to look for power. So it's something that you can trade off if you have a lot of things that you can look for, but definitely something you want to keep in mind as a more risky option. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe below. And as usual, let me know if you need any guide for anything else. I covered a lot of the major topics. I think this guide, a lot of people ask me how to spend money, and I wanted to show a video about how to spend money when you're ahead. It's very, very important, and it's fairly straightforward as well. So I was able to break it down pretty easy video context. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys later.